Okay. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Okay, hi sir. So today our groups would like to present about the practical exercise 1. So this is my group members is Amirul, Aiman Khan, dan me is Eikhwan Nabil. Okay, so we proceed to this is the additional info, topology, and the scenario. So okay, exercise 1, configure LLDP. Firstly, number 1 is disable CDP on the router RO1. Kecil sangat untuk uji aku. Kacau. Level, config, and run CDP run. Okay. So second, we need to enable LLDP globally on router 1. So exit LLDP run. Oh sorry. Com LLDP run. Okay. So the third one is configure R1 to make the links to the switch to only receive LLDP message. Info interface G0 0 1 0 okay. So is the info next interface is G one where is it? Okay. We move to another question. Is disable CDP on the switch 1 and switch 1 2 switch. Enable copy. So no CDP run. So we need to disable CDP. Okay. So we move to switch 1 2. Enable copy. No CDP run. Okay. So move to next. Enable LLDP on switch 1 and switch 2. Okay. Eh. Okay. You switch to okay, this is it. Configure switch one and switch to make the links to the router one, router two only send, not receive LDP message. Okay, config into interface. No LLDP receive. Check. So write the same command. Pick the fields. No LLDP receive. Easy. So the last part of my presentation is disable LLDP completely on the switch 1 and switch 2 access ports that are in use on switch 1. Okay. So into switch 1, we put in interface range, interface range, FA0 slash no LLDP transmit and receive. We also for switch 2, no LLDP, no LLDP, no LLDP receive. So that's all from my exercise one. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum, sir. I'll be presenting task 2. Okay, for exercise 2 is configure CDP. So the first task is activate CDP on the router on RO2 router. So we can go to RO2 router. We can enable and then go to the terminal, and then we can insert the command CDP run to enable CDP on router 2. Okay, next is connect. Next is connect to switch 2, 1 or SSH. You will not able to open a CLI window by clicking the branch switches. So first of all, we must go to switch 2, and then we should create the SSH command. So like I did is now you can see as I already created the IP domain name as branch local here. and then the username admin secret is here. And then for the SSH command is, we can see down here, which was line VTY04, login local transport input SSH. So to verify it, we can go to PC2, 3, okay. Then we can go into the command prompt and we can put the command SSH admin and the IP for VLAN from switch 2. So as we can see here, the IP is 192.168.50.2. So we can go to PC23 and then we can put the IP address of VLAN 22 from PC2 3, basically from switch to 1. So as we can see, it requires application is successful because we can access switch to 1 from the PC2. Step is connect two switches SW22 and SW23 over SSH in use to not send CDP messages off the port. So first of all, we must create the SSH command both in both switches. So from here, we can see that I already created the IP domain name as branch local and set the username admin and passwords. So the IP SSH version is 2. So for the SSH part, we can see the IP address of LAN 2. So here is the line VTY04 command that I use. So I have used login local and transport export SSH. And for the switch to 2, the IP address for VLAN 22 is 192.168.50.3. So we can go into the PC23. PC22, sorry. We can enter the password. And then from there, we can do the configuration for switch to 2. Okay, so the command is, so the task requires us to configure the access port that are in use to not send CDP messages out of the port. So we can enter the command. Okay, for part 2, exercise 2, configure CDP. So the first task is to activate CDP on the RO2 router. So we can see here's the configuration for the enable CDP on the RO2. So we must enter enable and configure terminal, and then we must enter the command CDP run to enable the activate the CDP on router 2. So the next one is connect to switch SW21 over SSH. We will not be able to open CLI window by clicking the branch switches. So like I created before, we can verify it now. So as I created before, you can see the username admin secret is 5, the IP domain name is branch local, and for the configuration for the SSH line is here, line BTY04, login local, transport input SSH. And the IP address for our switch 21 is 192.168.50.2. So we can go to PC23 and we can enter the command SSH del admin and the IP address of VLAN 22 on switch 21. Enter the password. So we can see that we can access switch 21 through the PC23. So the SW22 and SW23 over SSH configure the access port that are in use to not send CGP messages out of the ports. Okay, so first of all, we will check about the SSH line command. So we can see here that I have created for SW22, I have created IP domain name as branch local and username admin secret and the password. So IP access version used is version 2. Now for the line BTY04 configuration is login local and transport input SSH. Same goes to SW23. The IP domain name branch local and IP SSH version is version 2. So for the line BTY04, the configuration is in local and transport input SSH. Okay, so first of all, we'll configure the SW23. So we'll take the IP address of interface VLAN 32, which is 192.168.50.4. So we will go here and we will enter the command shl admin 192.168.50.4, which is the IP address of LAN 32 of switch 23. So then we will enter enable and configuration terminal. So for the question asked that configure the access port that are in use not to send CDP message out of the port. So for switch 3, we can see here we have used fast Ethernet 01. Port in use is fast Ethernet 01. So we configure fast Ethernet 01 in here. So we'll enter the interface F01 and no CDP enable. Same for the switch to 2. We'll see take the IP address of LAN 22 in it. So 192.168.168.50.3. So we'll go to PC22 and we'll enter the command SSH admin 192.168.50.3. So same for the port interface. We'll make sure ensure it by doing the command show IP interface brief. So we can see that fast Ethernet 01 is the port that we use. Okay, so you can go here and enter interface FA01 and enter the command no CDP enable. So that's all from me. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Selamat sejahtera, sir. Saya akan buat task 3 sekarang ni. Okay, for exercise 3, configure NTP no time protocol. So configure R01 to use server 1 at 192.168.20.254 at the NTP server. So now we are going to go to router 1. In router 1, we are going to put the command 15. So we are going to put the command is for NTP server 192.168.20.254. Once we have put the command, we should go to the server over here and we should go to the services. In the services part, we have to go to NTP and we have to press enable. Once you have pressed enable, go back to router 1, exit, and then we are going to put the command show. We are going to put yes, show NTP status. So as you can see, the time will be over here. Okay, so moving on next for the last exercise, the exercise 4, addressing the IP. So we are going to see every IP on the end devices of the interface. So we are going to start with router 1. We're going to show run. And in router 1, the interface for G00, the IP address would be 192.168.20.1. So 192.168.20.1, 001, 192.168.30.1, 192.168.30.1, and then for 010 for serial, it will be 192.168.40.1, 192.168.40.1. Moving on to router 2, CLI enable show run. For gigabit G000 is going to 192.168.50.1. 260.50.1, and then for S010 will be 192.168.40.2. 640.2. And then moving on to switch 1, CLI enable show run. So for interface VLAN 1 will be 192.168.20.2. For switch 1, moving on to switch 1 2, enable show run. And then it's going to be interface for VLAN 1 will be 192.168.30.2. For switch 1 2, moving on to switch to 1, enable show run. And then we're going to see for interface VLAN 22 will be 192.168.50.2. That's for this. And then switch to enable show run. Password apa dia? Password. Okay, we're going to go show run. Show run, so the IP for VLAN 22 for SW2 switch will be 192.168.50.3. And then for switch 203, switch 203, CLI enable Cisco 120. So show run. VLAN 22 is going to be 192.168.50.4, 192.60.4. Going on to server PT, desktop IP configuration, this will be the servers IP 192.168.20.254. And then PC12, desktop IP 192.168.30.10. PC22, desktop IP 192.168.50.10. And then for the final one, PC23, desktop IP 192.168.50.20. So that's all from me for task 4. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.